Hey guys, it's currently 12:45 for me in the afternoon, and I was thinking, and a lot of times I like to write what I'm thinking down because it helps me process it, and sometimes it comes in the form of poetry or just straight words on a piece of paper, and I thought today I'd share what I'm going through. I call this piece Pure Burning Hot Hatred. Addiction gives you a feeling of release, but only to chain you back up right after. Addiction gives you keys to your chains, only to lock you in the room you're in. My jailer is a satanic, sadistic demon, and I can't stand him. It offers me free dopamine, free release from my bondage, only to tighten the noose around my neck. Alas, I have fallen again. I have been stricken by the sword of sin and the arrows of lust. I am mortally wounded. I crawl, but the devil stands on my spine, paralyzing me. I look up, blood and bile leak out of my mouth. The righteous hatred in me for my chains burns brighter than the flames of hell itself. No fire can burn me, no inferno can incinerate me, for the Lord my God watches over me. His angels gaze upon me. I may be burned, but I will never be reduced to ash, for that is the fate of his enemies. My fate was sealed the moment Jesus called me by name. Oh look, be the guiding light that incinerates my enemies. Break free from these chains and fight. Yeah, that's pretty hard to write down and record and share, because I'd say not only as men, but just people in general, we don't like people to see when we're weak or when we appear weak, and right now I feel kind of weak, not gonna lie. A lot of times I talk this big game, I wear this shirt, it says Jesus Saves on the back, but when I'm in my room by myself, I don't choose God every time. If I were to be completely and utterly honest with you. And it's sad. It's depressing because I have this flag in my room. I have all this stuff. I talk so much about God, and yet I fall short every time. And there was a time in my life where I hated myself for it, and a lot of times I still do. That's why I called that piece Pure Burning Hot Hatred. English, it's hard. And I just come to terms with I am a messed up being. I am imperfect. I am sinful in every single way. I cannot go a single day without sinning. No matter how much I try. Believe me, I try. I try. But at some point or another, someone will make me say something that doesn't honor God, or I'll do something that doesn't honor God, or I'll think in a certain way to where I let the devil in. And that's where my walk starts to fail. And that's where everything, it feels like everything I did to build my way up there just comes crumbling down. And that's a lie. That's a lie. I want you to look me in my eyes right now and listen. Every time you sin and you believe that everything you've worked for has come crumbling down, do not lose heart. When Jesus was walking the water and his disciples were scared, thinking it was a ghost, he says, "Take courage, for I am here." So now is that time. I'm learning this every single time I fail, that whenever you fail, you can't just cower in the dark. I used to, when I was a kid, I was all up in high school. I think until my junior year of high school when I started boxing was when I stopped doing this. I would, when I get overwhelmed, I'd go into my closet and I'd cry. I would hit myself over and over. I'd punch myself in the face, the gut, everything. Because that's how much I hated myself for sinning. and for just being me. And you have to come to terms with the fact that you're not perfect, and you're never gonna be. And that in itself is what makes the cross such an important thing, such a beautiful thing. Because if you were perfect, if you had it all figured out, if you had all the money, if you had everything you ever wanted, there would be no reason to depend on God. There wouldn't be any reason for God to send down his son to redeem his people. And let me tell you this, I read this verse the other day. It's Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For you are a holy people who belong to the Lord your God. Of all the people on earth, the Lord your God has chosen you to be his own special treasure. Not special people, which that is what it insinuates, but, or like your special, like, plaything or like subject. Special treasure. Think about something you treasure real quick. It might be your phone, your money, video games, I don't know. Your freaking, like sports betting, I know that's big here. But, like think about something you treasure. Like something you will never part ways with. Like something that like you always hold dear to your heart. A lot of times it's not an object, it's people. Or it's feelings. Like a feeling you treasure when you do something or when you experience something. I don't say that in a bad way. I treasure the feeling of walking around town, sitting at the river. I treasure the feeling of getting a cup of coffee by myself and sitting and reading. Those are things I don't ever want to part ways with. But that's my treasure. And you are God's treasure. Think about that. No matter how many times, like, you fail or you messed up or you're dirty, like, a lot of times when we think of treasure, we think of something that's polished and perfect. Like a pirate sailing the seas for years and years to finally find a treasure chest buried in the sand. He digs it up and he finds all these shiny gold coins, these pearls, everything it's perfect, pristine quality. But God doesn't see treasure in that. He sees treasure in the broken. We have been broken since the beginning of mankind. And yet, here in Deuteronomy, he's telling Moses, you are my chosen people. You are my treasure. So every time I sit here and I'm like, dang man, I just sinned like bad. I told God I wasn't going to, and I did. Man, I'm a loser. I'm a bum. That's what I'm thinking. But that's not true. That's not true. I'm 19 years old. I spent 18 of those years hating myself. It wasn't until maybe a year ago that I started seeing value, even in the littlest things. And the big things too. But I don't think it was until I got here in Germany when I realized just how much God loves me. And just how much of a treasure I am to him. I'm not some penny that he found on the side of the road that's rusty and everything. Not in his eyes, no. That might be how I see myself. But he sees me like I'm a gold coin from centuries ago that's worth like millions of dollars. He sees me as like a beautiful, like a building, kind of like, I know that's hard to, it's hard to put into words. Hard for mortal minds to comprehend. But I think I'm getting closer and closer every day to understanding just how much he loves me. And it's just, it's crazy, man. It's crazy how he could look at a broken ball of meat, like me, that he created, lift me up out of my brokenness and say, you're worth it. That's not something I told myself enough. That's not something that I heard a lot. It's not something people usually tell other people. A lot of times I think people expect you to already have it figured out, when in actuality, they don't even have it figured out. They don't even know what their worth is. They're out there chasing it in other things. And I'm just so blessed that I found God when I did. Because I could be like a lot of my comrades who just are still searching, and they're searching in the wrong places. And I'm blessed that at 19 years old, I know what the answer is. And a lot of times I don't pick the right answer every time. But I believe it's in Proverbs. Bear with me, I need to find this verse. Yes, it's Proverbs 24, verse 16. The godly may trip 7 times, but they will get up again. But one disaster is enough to overthrow the wicked. So no matter how many times we fall, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we fall, because it's not a matter of if, it's when we fall. Because we're humans. We're gonna fall. We're not angels. We're not God himself. We're gonna fall. And it's just a matter of when. But the only thing we can control, the one thing we can't control, is whether we choose to stay down or get back up. And that's something I learned not only through my faith, but in boxing. Like when the ref, like, you get knocked down, or the ref gives you an 8 count, and you're just like, you're there, and you're like, dang, man, I'm getting beat up right now. Like, I can't win this. Like, a lot of times in sparring, I'm up against people bigger than me, because no one here around my size boxes. And so I'm up against people like 210, 240 pounds, and I'm like, man, like, God, I can't win this. This isn't fair. Like, I can't, I'm just gonna keep falling. There's no victory in sight for me. No victory I can see. That's what the beauty of God's blessings are, is a lot of times you don't see them until they smack you in the face. You don't see them until they smack you in the face. Like, a lot of times I wake up and like, I used to be like, man, I don't want to do this. Man, I have to go to work today, man. I have to do PT. I have to do this. But then I started looking at it like, I get to do PT. I get to live for free in these barracks. I get to live in Germany. That's something to smile about. I mean, come on. How many people can say that they got to work abroad at 19? Like, you have to look at your blessings, but you got to count them. You got to count them. You got to savor each one. Because not every blessing lasts forever. And I realized that with my grandfather. Around maybe 3 years ago. As a child, I always knew he was someone that would be there. Like, he's always there for you. And then whenever I was training for my first fight, 2023, November, the day before Thanksgiving, I got a call that he passed away. And 5 minutes later, I went to the gym because I had to train for this fight. And it's been 2 years, and I still am thinking about him and thinking like, man, that's the type of man that I want to be, is someone who's always there for someone else who needs me. And that's why I make these videos. I don't make them for popularity. I honestly don't care how many views they get. I just need one person who really needs to hear this message to watch this video. That's really all I need. And I thank you, all of you guys who watch my videos. Even though my channel's still really new, like people who watched my last video, I know it was a really long one, but just thank you. That in itself is a blessing, that I have sheep to feed. That God has called me to feed his sheep, and the sheep showed up. And so, I just wanted to share that quick verse, my quick poem, or what, my writing piece, if you will. And I'm praying for redemption. I'm praying for being able to get back up, even though it's hard a lot of times. Actually, every time it's hard. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Every time it's hard to get up. But I've come to the point now where I don't dwell on it anymore. That I'll mess up and I acknowledge, like, hey, I'm a sinner. Like, I know this is bad. But it's not gonna do me any good just sit here and wallow in my stink. So get back up, and I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try again after that, and again and again and again until I get it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what it really means to be a human. To mess up, but you know you're flawed, but you're gonna keep fighting anyways. You're gonna keep pushing through even though it's hard every single time. And that's why I think that's exactly how God intended it. Because it may have been his original intention for us to be perfect, but this is his plan. He made us this way so that just a handful of us could realize everything I've been saying in this video and say, wow, that's what it really means to be a follower of Christ. And they would glorify God and thank him with their lives. I think I'm gonna end it here. I'm a very big thinker, so I'm probably making another video here in the next week, but I'm going on rotation for about 10 days. So I'm gonna be away. Now maybe I'll make a video out there, but I'm gonna have to post it after, so you won't see me for a little bit. But thank you all, and God bless.